This is a channeled sleep story for those who don't fully belong to either world and are beginning to understand why. The Sassani presence is woven into every word of this story. As you listen, the bridge between worlds becomes visible. You were built for this crossing. Welcome back. I'm Heather, and tonight we arrive at a visitation that I think is going to surprise some of you. Not because the beings are unknown, but because of how recognized you might feel by them. The Sassani, sometimes called the Yahyel, are a hybrid civilization, part human, part Zeta Reticulan, but fully neither. They are considered by many traditions to be the most likely first physical contact civilization, the ones whose form is close enough to ours that the initial meeting, when it comes, will not be as overwhelming as contact with the more distant races. But their significance to the people who are drawn to them goes beyond first contact logistics. The Sassani carry a specific frequency that resonates deeply with those who feel like hybrids themselves. Not genetically necessarily, but experientially. Those who don't belong entirely to the spiritual world or the physical world. Those who are too intuitive for the mainstream and too grounded for the purely mystical. Those who have always lived between categories and found that no single identity fully fits. The Sassani understand this experience from the inside. They are literally built from two different kinds of consciousness, and they have spent their entire civilization learning how to hold both without collapsing into either. They have become genuinely joyful beings, curious, playful, deeply engaged with the experience of existing, precisely because they stopped trying to resolve the tension and started inhabiting it. If you are someone who has been waiting to belong to one world or the other, fully and finally, the Sassani have a different suggestion. And tonight they make it. So lie down, let yourself be in between just for now. That's where they live. They'll find you there. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Let the transition between inhale and exhale be its own moment. The threshold. The Sassani live in the threshold. Again, deep breath in, take a pause, and then let it out. Notice how much life happens in that transition. The breath doesn't rush through the middle. It arrives there, rests there briefly, and then moves. One more. And on this breath, allow yourself to arrive in the in-between space. Not one thing or the other, just the crossing point. Feel your scalp releasing, your jaw, your throat, softening all the way down, your chest opening, your heart, which has always been good at crossing between worlds, even if the rest of you wasn't sure that it was allowed. Let it open. Your belly, your hips, your legs, your feet, your whole body, resting in the threshold now. Not asleep, not awake, the crossing place. Exactly where the Sassani have always been most at home. The Sassani arrive differently than any of the other previous visitors. They arrive with curiosity, not the vast, deep curiosity of the Syrians, who have been studying consciousness for billions of years. Something more immediate, more personal, more like the specific curiosity of someone who has heard a great deal about you and is genuinely, warmly excited to finally meet. There is lightness in their arrival, not levity. They are not trivial beings, but a quality of ease, of not being burdened, of having made a genuine peace with existence that allows them to show up in each moment without the weight of unresolved questions about whether being is worthwhile. You might feel it as a lightning in your chest, a small, unexpected lift in your mood that doesn't have an obvious cause. An impulse towards something that functions like a smile. That's them. Their form, if you can perceive it, is somewhere between humanoid, but the proportions slightly different. Larger eyes, smaller mouth, lighter build. The features that the human face has, but refined towards something more distilled. They are beautiful in a way that a very clear, clean thing is beautiful. Not ornate, just precisely itself. They look at you with recognition. Not the ancient, vast recognition of the Lyrans, something more like the recognition of a sibling who has lived a parallel but different life and finds, in this meeting, that the differences are fascinating and the similarities are home. You are not strangers to each other. You share more than you know. The Sassani want to tell you something that might reframe a significant portion of your existence on this planet. The feeling of not quite belonging to the purely human world, to the purely spiritual world, to any single category or community or identity is not a deficiency. It's a design specification. Bridges require structure that is different from what it connects. A bridge between two land masses cannot be made of either landmass. It has to be made of something that can span the gap, bear weight from both sides, and remain stable while the crossings happen. You are a bridge, not metaphorically, in terms of the actual energetic function that you came here to perform. You are a point of translation between the physical and the non-physical, between the mundane and the mystical, between the world that is coming and the world that is leaving. And to be that point of translation, you could not be fully of either world. The full belonging you've been waiting for would have made you unable to do the work. The Sassani figured this out about themselves some time ago. They stopped mourning the fact that they weren't fully Zeta and weren't fully human, and started asking a different question. What is uniquely possible from the in-between? And the answer, for them, was joy. The specific joy that comes from being freed from the limitations of any single identity. The creativity that emerges when you are not bound by the conventions of either world. The capacity for genuine curiosity, because you are close enough to both worlds to understand them, but outside enough to find them fascinating. And the gift of first contact, of being the ones who can cross between, because they are already made of both. You are made of both. You always were. The in-between is not the waiting room. It's the destination. The Sassani offer something simple and completely transformative. They offer to help you stop fighting the in-between, to help you, just for tonight, inhabit it rather than move through it. Feel the places in your body or your life where you have been trying to resolve this tension, to finally be one thing, to finally choose a side, to finally belong somewhere completely and to stop straddling. The Sassani sit with you in that tension right now, not to resolve it, but to show you that it's livable, to demonstrate by their very presence that a being can be made of apparent opposites and become genuinely, freely joyful, not despite the paradox, but through the inhabiting of it. Feel the tension, and then feel them beside you in it, completely at ease, curious about what's here, interested in you, interested in the tension, interested in what might emerge from the specific combination that couldn't emerge from anything simpler. What wants to ease in you? What has been held in the posture of someone waiting to finally arrive and can now exhale because you realize you already have. You arrived at the in-between. You are in it. You are home. Let something soften. The long effort of trying to fully belong, the fatigue of being between worlds without knowing the in-between was the world you were built for. You're allowed to stop crossing now. You're allowed to live here. The Sassani settle into a lightness around you, not the heavy presence of the Lyrans or the precise stillness of the mantis beings. Something more like company, companionable, easy. This is what they are like when the work is done and they're simply present, curious, warm in their particular way, genuinely glad to be here, genuinely glad that you're here, not making a great drama of either. Drift into sleep in that company, the sleep of someone who has, finally, stopped trying to arrive somewhere else and allowed themselves to be where they are. As you sleep tonight, something that has been braced begins to unbrace. The part of you that has been waiting for full belonging, for complete understanding, for the moment when the paradox resolves, that part is allowed to rest. It doesn't need to resolve. The paradox is the architecture. You will wake, perhaps, feeling lighter in a way you associate with relief. The relief of something that has been waiting a long time to be told it doesn't have to wait anymore. The Sassani are the first contact civilization, and contact has already happened. It happened tonight, in the threshold, in the in-between. So sleep. You are between worlds. You have always been between worlds. And that is exactly, precisely, perfectly enough.